Hello, beautiful Taurus. Happy New Year to all of you. I hope you had a great holiday season, and you are all well. This will be a reading for with spiritual guidance for January 2023. It for the sign of Taurus. And it will apply to you if obviously if Taurus is your sun sign, your moon sign, your ascendant sign, or or your Venus sign. You can also listen to it or watch it for any other placements where you have Taurus in your chart, if you know it for yourself. um, I connect also, as previously said, I also connect with Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron, so with archangels and angels when I do the readings. And I've already asked, as I said, Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron to stay with us, to be with us through the reading, and to send us blessings and protection, right, so that we can have a really great experience. Um, all right, so I will also at the end of the reading, I'm going to draw two cards for, let's say, as a theme or like a small message for the whole of 2020, for the whole year of 2023. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I've already prepared the main cards, right? We'll start with the theme. The theme for you guys, Taurus, is actually here and now. Um, yeah, so I think this is a bit of guidance and advice for the month of January, right? Perhaps somehow maybe it will apply at some point in the year. I always see January as a starting point for the year, and sometimes we get a kind of like a little bit of guidance for the whole of the year. Yeah, here and now is probably just suggesting for you to be in the present moment as much as you can, right? To be here and now. So perhaps not to plan too much forward into the future, and probably not to think too much about the past, right? So let's say capturing or using the energy of the present moment is going to help you the most, right, with anything that obviously will happen, or any challenges that will come, right? I do feel like I just wanted to say that even if you want to plan, because we all want to plan our future, right, wait, the present moment awareness will allow you, let's say, to know. So listen also to that and to your intuition, and this will allow you to know when is the best moment perhaps to sit down and do some planning, right? But don't just try not to perhaps spin in your mind too much about future or too much about the past. I would say that be in the now and be in the present moment, and this will help the most your energy, and it will help you the most during the month of January. All right, and we'll start. Let's start let's start with the card, which is actually the present moment position, the present position, and it's also like the center of the spread, right? So this can obviously this can relate to kind of any time, any time, let's say during January as well. But I feel like you guys are also going through a process. This is number 13, Peace card, which in traditional tarot is a death card. And here I hope so. Obviously, I don't think obviously this is a process, and I don't think it relates to any a physical death, and hopefully not. But well, so but let me just read it. If it does, then I wouldn't say that this is not a. I don't normally take it as a prediction, right? I just feel it's more about the process of endings, process of transitions for many of you, and also a transformation for some of you. Many of you, I feel, probably have gone through similar process, let's say, so process of change and transformation in the past already. So many of you perhaps know what it means for you, or that you've already experienced that. You know kind of the likes of it a little bit, right? You know maybe more about it. Some of you are probably still learning about it. Some of you may come and experience some let's say some like a bigger change or a bigger ending during the month of January. But the main point, I think, of this card is to just let you know that that's a process, right? So anything that has ended, or anything that has already, that you've started perhaps to change, or has ended in the past, and now you, for example, working towards, I don't know, coming out of it, right? And towards, let's say, a better future or a better solution to a situation. I think this is a reminder that it's a process. That's a process of transformation and also transition, right? And this takes a little bit of time. I feel this is also this is one of the main messages here. Archangel Azrael, so he's actually the, let's say, on this card. So Archangel Azrael is asking me to tell some of you. So I again, hopefully many of you have already worked with spirit guides and are aware, obviously, and work with spirit with meditation. So Archangel Azrael is just reminding you. He's telling me to remind you to call upon him, or connect with any archangels or any angels that you feel, let's say, comfortable with, or maybe you've known them from the past. Just connect with archangels to help you with the growth and with this process, right? I feel like to tell you that this process may not always be very easy. I know it myself. I've gone through it many times to do with many different things. It may also be a process of healing, a process of deep healing for some of you, right? Perhaps something like a relationship has ended. Yeah, or something else that was very difficult has ended in the past already, but that's how it feels. And now it's just a continuation of changing, transforming, and transitioning towards, let's say, a better future. This is how it comes up. It does come, this peace card actually does come with two clarifiers, and one is the strategy card. The other one is the thinking woman. So, and I would say, well, the thinking, maybe let me just start. I think both cards, they do represent, so while you are in this transition process or transformation, I think the thinking woman is reminding you that use also your logical, so whatever you're going through, make sure that you use a bit of, like, let's say, use your logical mind also to resolve certain aspects, right? So maybe many of you are highly sensitive or very sensitive. For those who have been going through healing, I know how it is. Sometimes it's easy to just, let's say, get bogged down and lost a little bit in our emotions, feelings, and various issues. But this is just reminding you that make sure that there is logic there, and just use logical mind, and even a little bit like analytical thinking in order to, let's say, help yourself during the month. And this is, but I feel like that's actually a positive message for you guys, for all of you guys. And the strategy card is also reminding you that it's good to have a plan, right? It's good to have a plan, maybe for whatever you're trying to achieve or whatever you are doing at the moment. It's not probably necessarily about planning every day, even though it may relate to this as well. But it's more about like an overall strategy for something, right? So even if you want to, even if there has been, so the death process, even if this process, something has ended in the past, and as I said, like for me, this is also a card of endings and big changes in our lives, right? So that's why I said, I mean, it doesn't have to be physical death, as I said, but if some of you maybe lost loved ones in the past, then it's also a process of transition and you're readjusting and healing, right? But just coming back to the main message, if something has changed in the past, you are in transition, transformation, so you are in a process of change, and you are also being kind of reminded and asked that it's good also to have a bit of a plan of how, perhaps, like where you want to go with that, right? So yeah, and therefore obviously use a bit of your logical thinking, and let's say logical consideration of what is it that you would expect, right? What is it that you want out of the process? And even though it feels difficult, you can still say, okay, well, I do want to come out of it. And for example, like if you've lost a part, like if this was a difficult breakup, for example, you can still say, well, I want to heal, and I want to have a healthy relationship in the future, right? Maybe not now, because I feel like you need to take time. You guys need to take time for processing and for the transition. But this is just an example, right? Just to think logically and say, yes, I do want to have a goal, right? Or maybe I do want to achieve something in the future. So regardless of what happened, I want to pick up, let's say, I want to pick up from there. I want to heal, and would like to move on and have something. I wanted just to say that this is the thinking woman. So the feminine, it's a message for everyone. I think it's just the feminine aspect that is highlighted here, right? So maybe not a lot of doing, I would say, right? The feminine is more receptive. So I would say maybe more meditative as well. So that's interesting. I feel like it's kind of finding the balance between maybe using a bit of like meditation practice, right? Using any practice that you do, maybe for your spiritual practice, maybe you use maybe you listen to some uplifting music or guided meditation, and combine it with a bit of logic, right? So you can write it. So journaling and writing things down comes through as well here, right? As a suggestion for you guys. So a bit, maybe not so much of a, it's a doing, but it's like a doing which is a little bit from a receptive point, like a feminine point of view, right? Like combining with meditation and then seeing what you receive as, let's say, as the higher guidance that comes to you. And this actually, so I can maybe touch upon it because you do have a divine guidance. You've got number 5, divine guidance card as your challenge position. And I will maybe talk about it in a moment, but I do feel like, so yeah, so there's 2 different probably messages here about the challenge. The challenge, because I feel like it also relates to something from the past and some institutional challenges. So this obviously this is different for different people, whatever happened. And if the divine guidance is also a challenge, maybe that's why you were being reminded with the logical, with the thinking woman also. Yes, do you use your logic, but I would suggest combine it with an aspect of like of practice of meditation. Even remember that sometimes when you are resting, right, or you are relaxing, or you just go out and maybe have some fun with friends, remember that sometimes ideas can also come to your mind, right? So it's just probably just to remember that the mind, let's say, is always active, right? And the divine guidance shouldn't be, if it's a bit of a challenge, then I would suggest trust it, right? But let me just talk about this. I'll come back to that card. I wanted to talk actually about the past position, which is quite interesting. In the past, actually, so that's Ace of Raphael, which is Ace of Cups in the traditional tarot deck. That's actually a positive card, but I feel like Archangel Raphael, he's the angel of healing and healing of the heart as well. So obviously, so whatever happened, so this ending that happened, or the bigger change in your life, whatever happened, and it happened in the past, I feel it brought you obviously an aspect, it brought you an opportunity to heal yourself, right? So it may have been perhaps painful, but it brought you also, so the ace is always a new beginning. So it brought something, so whenever something ends, it always opens, let's say, a new door, or it opens like a new beginning, right? And I feel like Angel Raphael is just telling you to, yeah, you are on many of you are on a healing journey, or he's just reminding you to make sure that you continue to seek guidance and also continue to seek, let's say, and use various healing methods and healing practices in order to, yeah, just to help yourself, right? And to obviously continue on the path and with the process as best as possible. This card, though, this is a clarifier. It's financial constraints. So it's just, it tells me, and actually, interestingly, it's number 13 as well. And 13 is actually death in tarot. So again, it signifies that perhaps the change that happened also related to finances or something in your material life. But I feel like the message, yeah, or some kind of constraint, right? It does feel like something, there was some tightening of some sort, and of your maybe finances, maybe you lost some money. But I feel like so the message from Archangel Raphael is that everything can be healed. Just remember that anything and everything can be healed, and can be also restored, right? And you can come up to a better level or better position. So for example, if you've lost the money, then through the change process and the healing and transformation, you can definitely retrieve it, right? You can retrieve yourself, and you can come up to a position, I don't know, to a better job, or maybe your business will stand to a new business and things like this, and you can retrieve that, and you can earn more money, right, after the process. So even though the healing process and the transformation process may not be the death process, right, may not be maybe the easiest one, but it's just a reminder. It's just a reminder that you can definitely retrieve it and restore it, and you can perhaps even earn more than you used to. Very often it's because you will come from a higher perspective, and because you will go through the transformation and the healing, right? So your energy will rise up, and you will come even from a higher, let's say, point of energy, and you'll be able to attract, let's say, more abundance, if that makes sense. Yeah, and actually the future card. So you do have a positive future card. With some clarifiers I will show you in a moment. So the future card is actually Six of Ariel. The future, I would say I think it will start to, this energy will start to come in or manifest probably even like somewhere maybe towards the end of January, maybe a little bit then towards the future. This is about actually, your finances, for example, balancing out, right? So if you've lost the money, you should start to see some signs of this rebalancing. So you should start to see some, for example, I don't know, a new income coming in, or new income stream coming in, or I don't know, a better pay rise. So this is, for example, right? But the Ariel, so this is Six of Pentacles. This can be anything else, for example, material, but it can also relate to a relationship. And if you've lost, I don't know, a friend or a friendship, or if you've lost a lover, I wouldn't say that straight away you will meet, let's say, a new romantic partner, but I would say that there will be positive signs already, let's say, before even the end of January. This is how I feel, that some good, that this can be restored, and you will have positive signs, and maybe some positive people will come to your life to show you the way, and to kind of to confirm that you are on the right path, and to bring more positivity, to say that yes, this can definitely be restored, right? And just perhaps as an advantage, as kind of like as an reassurance and confirmation that positive, yes, it can be restored, right? And you will get there, you will get there. So please just have faith and trust. But I do have, but I think that even though this is very positive, there are two cards with this, which one is about walking away, but the walking away card, sorry guys, this one, yeah, the walking away card is actually in reverse with the anxiety card. I think the walking away feels to me like you are not, okay, just to remember that that's a process, right? There may be, you may have some internal blocks that you have to continue, that you need to continue, you have to continue to heal and kind of overcome, right? So some obstacles perhaps manifesting in and out, if that makes sense. Yeah, so there are some like small, let's say, obstacles and blockages towards you walking away from something and moving on, but I wouldn't say that there's nothing to worry about. You have the strength and you can definitely do it, right? It's just telling you that maybe the process will take you longer than you expected, right? Maybe that's why the anxiety card, I think, comes up. Yeah, I would read it this way, that the anxiety is coming up just to, you probably may be anxious because you feel that, yeah, you expected something also to come quicker, right? Then or for example, by the end of January, you would have expected this and that to be done, and it won't be done. Or maybe you would have expected that you will be feeling better, or you'll be feeling this way, and maybe it won't happen straight away in January. So it's just a reminder, it's a process, but I feel like you are walking away, and you are being guided to continue to walk away from the past, right? It doesn't have to repeat itself, and you are definitely on the higher, on the higher path, right? On the path also of the transformation and also transition for many of you. And transition is just, it's a process, right? It's a transition. I would say, give yourself time. And transition, that does take time, and have patience, right? And I can also tell you, because I've gone through this myself, and patience is also very important, and having faith and trust. And if you have faith and trust, obviously you want to just counteract this anxiety, right? So whenever you feel anxious, just again do some healing work, do some practices like meditation that help you calm your mind, right? And restore yourself, come to your center, right? And yeah, but I think this message, the first card, the Six of Ariel, is a reminder and a confirmation and reassurance that good things are coming to you, and they will. Yeah, so it's obviously something will start to manifest before the end of January, but I feel like even towards the future, right, the future months, you will see more of it and more abundance coming to you. So have good faith. Yeah, and coming back, so perhaps this is the challenge card that I was talking about. Divine guidance is the Hierophant card in the traditional tarot. I would say what is challenging you is either like on the physical aspect of manifestation, there is an aspect of institution, and something that, but I don't know, like it's either, and it's related to money perhaps, or your career, right? So it could be also a company, it could be any other institution that maybe you have to deal with, or you had to deal with in the past, to do with the change, right? So with your peace process, with the process of transformation, and it will be different for many of you. But even if it's challenging, I would just suggest, so it will come up as a challenge, but I would just suggest, because the card is also about actually you listening to your inner guidance, or to the divine guidance. I don't know, I would just say that, so the challenge is about it could be also, for example, institution of marriage, right? But it will be different for all of you. Like if there's anything like this that comes up, I would say, remember that you are in the process of transition and transformation, or process of change. So things are changing for you. You can change your approach, and you can change anything that is happening, or you have a free will and a free will choice. And divine guidance is there to assist you, right? So if you are having perhaps some hiccups, or if you're having a bit of doubts also with how, like, is my guidance accurate, right? Then I would say yes, but the message is also try to connect with, as Archangel Azrael was asking you to connect, right? With any angels or archangels, or just connect with spirit the way you used to connect, or start learning also about angels, or how to connect with spirit, especially, and start, for example, meditating, which will help you with that. All right, just to kind of wrap it up a little bit, this is just the environment card, which is Five of Raphael, and that's Five of Water, which kind of does talk a little bit about sadness, or some disappointments, and this is in your environment. So I would just suggest that perhaps not everything, as I said, not everything is yet as it should be, right? Or you may have this feeling that gosh, like it's still not there yet, right? And something is causing. I don't think that it's like a deep. I think thankfully, I feel like it's not the sadness from the past or not a deep emotion. But if something comes up and it's a bit disappointing, I would just suggest, from obviously in the environment, so something manifested, just remember that good things are coming, right? As I said with the Six of Ariel in the future, good things are coming, and it just takes time to heal and to recover and to move on from the past as well. You do have a bit of a strange, though, to be honest, this also can relate because this is an outcome card, and the outcome card, you've got 5 of Gabriel, which is card of conflict. And you've got King of Ariel, and King of Ariel, so this is a King of Pentacles. So I would suggest, when I was feeling it actually the first time I saw it, it's a bit strange because it feels like you do have some conflict with the King of Pentacles. So let's say with an older, with a man, let's say, who is established in terms of his finances, or he has some aspect of a steady position maybe in life, right? And even though there is a bit of a conflict, it's kind of because this is an outcome card, and I would suggest that this may be one, like a point of growth during January for you, right? But I would say that that's like, it seems it's not funny, but it comes a little bit like it's much lighter than it used to be, and don't take it maybe too seriously, right? This conflict perhaps is only coming up to help you resolve actually something, or help you see something that maybe you haven't seen before, right? And this guy, actually, this King of Pentacles, doesn't actually come up. I don't feel that he's a kind of very negative person, right? So it's a little bit like, take it lightly. Maybe allow yourself to play with this a little bit. Maybe take some time also for yourself to rethink however you want to speak with this person. But I don't think that there's nothing like, let's say, damaging in there, or at least this is not how it feels. Perhaps just, you just probably need to remember about it. Sorry, guys. That's why the card came up this way. The card of advice, you guys have clear your mind. It's actually last quarter moon in Gemini. It's interesting because the Gemini reminds me that Mars, so for those of you who follow astrology, Mars is still in retrograde. I think it goes direct on the 12th of January. Yeah, Mars is in Gemini. Gemini is also a lot about mental space, right? And thoughts and thinking. So maybe you may experience a lot of perhaps thoughts or negative thoughts, and you are being requested here to use, as Archangel Aziel said, in your process, to use meditation or a healing method to help you calm down also your anxiety and your mind. And that's why this says clear your mind, right? So remember to use your practice to clear your mind and calm down, and maybe come back to positive thinking, I would say. All right, I'm going to take I'm going to take the 2 cards for you guys for Taurus for the year as a theme, let's say for the year, for the whole year 2023. So let's ask for Taurus 2023. Okay, we've got Archangel Haniel, and now oops. Okay. My cards went down, but I can pick them up later. We also have, I'm going to draw also one more card for you from Archangel Michael deck. No, Michael says, okay. Let me just ask for Taurus, please, for 2023. Okay. So, the first card is Archangel Haniel, and it says joy, blessings, intuition. I feel like, guys, this is also a confirmation that you are being invited to start working with the angels and archangels. They are really lovely, let's say, beings of light, right? They're beings of God, of divine light. Perhaps do some research, do some reading, maybe listen. There are also many angel like channelers and people who teach a lot about the angels. So use also your intuition. On the other hand, Archangel Haniel is also about joy and blessings. And I feel like this is, it's a reminder for you. I feel it's a positive card, but it's also a reminder for you. So we've spoken that you may have a bit of a jumpy, your mind can be kind of, let's say, jumping. You may experience negative thoughts. And I would suggest that Archangel Haniel is also asking you that you actually have control over your mind to some extent, at least. I mean, you normally do. But you do need to sometimes withdraw, and you need to do some practice, like, for example, meditation practice. There is or a healing practice, some kind of a healing practice to balance your energy, and something that will allow you to clear and balance your mind too, right? But I feel like the joy is, but this is a card of joy and blessing. So it's a positive card, and keep trusting, even though you are maybe still in this space of transition and transformation. And probably there is still more work to do for you, right? There is still kind of some challenges to come and maybe some healing to do. But it's reminding you that there is also a lot of joy coming to you during, like, in the whole year 2023, and you will experience on joy. And the more you focus on joy, you then attract more, let's say, joyful experiences and more blessings to your life too, right? And Archangel Michael is saying, admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. I would say also perhaps coming back to your practice, like to your perhaps the let's say maybe a little bit overactive mind. Archangel Michael is saying that also act with your own truth inside of you and with your own honesty. As he says, admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly, right? So it's important for you to know your truth and to know what you are feeling and what. So be honest with yourself, basically, in a simple way, and then make sure that you act according to your own truth, right? So don't let anyone let anyone sway you, or don't let anyone, I don't know, convince you to go this way or choose this if you feel you don't want to do that, right? Or if you feel resistance. Always come back to yourself. Admit the truth and your true feelings to yourself. Work with it a little bit, I would say. Work with the healing practice, meditation, and then act accordingly based on how you feel and your own inner truth, right? Don't, let's say, let anyone sway you, I would suggest. Yeah, and Archangel Haniel is just saying, yeah, and this will also contribute and bring you blessings, joy, and more abundance in life. All right. That's all I have for you, my dear Taurus. Thank you for being here, for watching the video. Yeah, please just hit the like button or the subscribe. I will be very grateful for that. Yeah, take care of yourselves, guys. I hope to see you on my future videos, and I'm sending you much love. Bye.